what a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the discussion, there is a link in the info box below this video, so click that now, press your mute button if you do join, please don't swear if you do. Now we are joined by 10th Man and a whole bunch of people in Discord. We're actually in the middle of a fairly juicy conversation, which is why I've done a relatively short intro, so welcome one and all, and Arwin.
Hello.
Hey, Arwin.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So just to carry on from where we were discussing this in the pre-show, I'll do a little plug for it. So if you are watching this live, Nathan Oakley 1980 channel, then typically you'll get this show about 36 hours later on the second channel. So subscribe today to Nathan Oakley channel. Or if you want to watch it as soon as it's finished recording, become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and you get it pretty much immediately after it's recorded. Anyway, we were discussing 10th Man, who typically will openly, let's say overtly, discuss the topic of flat earth with people he encounters. And now by coincidence I encountered an old acquaintance from way back when and chose not to. Now I gave the excuse that it was because it was in the rain. The end of the conversation was something along the lines of, well, if it hadn't been the rain you'd have spent the time to, let's phrase it in a derogatory way, convert the man to flat earth. And I said, well actually no, I probably wouldn't, because that person's just somebody I used to know as opposed to somebody I've got a deep caring about or a concern about, or feel it's, you know, without sounding selfish, in my interest to actually dedicate the time to doing that with. Anyway, that's enough lead in for the audience. 10th Man.
Yeah, it was interesting. And for me, if I know someone is lying, it doesn't sit well with me. And so if I could bring someone's attention to a lie, whatever the lie is, hey, don't go to this mechanic because he cheats people and here's so many people he's cheated, then I try to steer people so they don't get hurt. So I'm not trying to convert people because I can't convert people, but I want to inform people. And so if they're going to get converted, they'll get converted based on good information. And then I have something to do with it because I don't want them to be lied to. So your story of standing in the rain with a subwoofer, and I said, well, if it wasn't raining, maybe you would have had the discussion. And you were saying, no, I probably wouldn't have. So for me, I'm the opposite. If it was raining, I'd say, look, I'd like to talk to you about it, but since it's raining, let's meet up for coffee or something. So I would have rescheduled it. But I have this inner desire to do this on a variety of topics. So flat earth being one of them. But that's where I would be, because I don't like people being lied to. I like standing on the side of the truth as much as I can.
Fair enough. But you mentioned I would prefer they weren't being lied to. In other words, you have the same view as me. In other words, if you have some deep-seated concern for these people, then you're going to take the time to do it. And people you're playing golf with are those people, aren't they?
Yeah, it could be a stranger, though. I've actually had many good conversations with. I remember one time when living in Spain, I met a guy. My son was playing golf, and I went into the clubhouse and had a beer, and this guy was sitting there, and he was German, and we started talking. He says, "Why aren't you playing golf?" I go, "Well, my son's playing golf, and I'm just here going to watch the soccer game and chat with you if you want." And he says, "Yeah, let's talk." And come find out he was an atheist. So for about 3 hours. Or something like that, we had a wonderful talk about why he's an atheist and why I'm a Christian and the back and forth. It was pleasant. We left as friends, but we covered a lot of nice, subjects.
Morning, Chocolate.
And I didn't know the guy, never saw him again.
Good morning.
That's fair enough.
Doing?
You've obviously got a different attitude to this to me. You're somewhere in between Spurs. I'm on the extreme end. Spurs is on the other extreme. You're somewhere in between, right?
I would say based on, yeah, I guess so. I mean, that's, I relate with Spurs. I just don't relate the way he fully is, because I don't have power over you. I don't have power over anybody. I have enough trouble having power over me. So I have to just get on my knees and ask God for help when it comes to things. And so if I have to do that, that means others have to do it to a point. Some people are more disciplined than others, etc. Some people are stronger in their convictions than others. But, I think of the eternal things. I think of, okay, heaven and hell, God, salvation. What am I in this wheel? Am I supposed to be a silent witness? Am I supposed to share the gospel? But how do I share it? Do I push it on people? No, I don't push it on people. I share it if they want to talk about it, because the scripture says if you have eyes to see, ears to hear, then the message will come through. I mean, it's very clear in the Bible how you find God. You have a very sincere prayer in your heart, and he, not me, he will reveal himself to you. And that's why I sent people off with that message. I go, you want to know God? Because they say, well, it's obvious you feel you know God. I go, oh, no, I know God. He changed my life. But if you want to know what I have, I can't give it to you, but you can get it from him directly. Just ask him. But be sincere when you do, because he will answer.
Yeah, tense man. You don't try to convert people, you try to convert people.
Very nice. I like that panology. I have a theology degree in panology.
Yeah. Whereas
That's a fact.
Go on, Neil.
No, I was just saying that's a fact. He's the pun man.
I have a similar ethos. I don't like liars and people who dance on the graves of others.
Yeah, well said.
What do you mean by that? Dance on the graves of others?
Just people who take things too far.
I like the first part, which you said you don't like liars. I didn't get the second part.
Anyone.
You guys, there's a Facebook page all making fun of Mad Mike, all run by globalists. Like, you can go there and they just post that more flat earthers need to try the rocket science. Where's your outrage there? I mean, that family's still grieving. That's beyond too soon. They were doing it the day.
Yeah,
I'm not saying they shouldn't have.
Bad.
Yeah. If you're raised with a nihilistic worldview, you're zealous.
Yeah, those
the people we deal with are. They don't care. We've seen the depths that they sink to. This is nothing to them.
They really have no value of human life because they don't recognize a creator that placed value on life.
Wow, we got there quick. Yeah.
No, that's precisely true.
Precisely. Yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's why a lot of them, I think, race against us in the way they do. If your outlook is, it's all for nothing, we're an insignificant speck of dust, none of it really matters. Laughing at a dead guy, who cares, right? It's a flat earth dead guy. Well, that deserves ridicule. And that's their worldview. Now, if you thought for 1 second that you might be judged for that, do you think you'd still do it? And if someone comes along and says, well, you might actually have been judged for this, those things, those terrible, terrible things that you did in your past, you might get judged for those. You might have been watched the whole time, metaphorically or otherwise. But ultimately speaking, you're responsible for those things. It's true anyway, if you believe in God or not. You are responsible for those things. Most people just stick them in a closet, close the door, and try and forget about them. As they do their next heinous thing. Because it's insignificant, they're not important. That's their worldview.
And I agree with that too. People should take responsibility for their actions.
Nicely.
Yeah, I believe sunlight is the best disinfectant. It's really that simple. Just show a light on what these people do, and the rest of the world sees it.
Yeah. Huey has a similar attitude when he's like, just expose them, let them open their mouths. I'll show you what they are.
This is why there's such pushback against this topic of ours, because they want to believe in chance, Big Bang, no accountability, no God. They make themselves God, basically, and make creation a God, one with the universe. Everyone's a God. Everyone has the God seed in them, etc., etc. But, no judgment for your choices, no day of reckoning. No, they can't have that. But when you introduce flat Earth and you start using biblical scriptures as well, they fight that real hard.
You think deep down inside they don't know that?
I don't know what they think deep down inside. Some may, some don't. Again, this is not my business. My business is to proclaim the truth and at best validate it and prove it when asked for.
Well, they always say there's no atheist in a foxhole.
I got one off the cuff one time to really tell me why they behave this way. It's about some sort of righteous indignation. They believe they're defending science, so they can do anything they want in the name of science. They're protecting science they're protecting humanity from flat earthers who are trying to destroy science. So anything they do, the ends justify the means.
How ironic when they don't have any science and what they're actually defending is pseudoscience, the right to make up just so stories. That's what they're really defending.
Yeah, it's
a cult.
It's
Took the words right out of my mouth.
It's just a cult. I took a screenshot of one where they said they're hoping for the next Flat Earth convention, so some globalist with a coronavirus can go into there and infect them all. I'm like, think about what you just said there. Like, really trying to internalize what your plan is to prove the globe.
That makes me smile because it's wrong on so many levels that we won't get into here, but it's almost hysterical, but very funny.
It is. Like it. It's completely hysterical. The reason why I haven't posted that stuff because it does show like real names and everything on Facebook posts.
It's akin to saying it's akin to a 5-year-old who's scared of the boogeyman, threatening to get the boogeyman to come and get you, right?
I compared it to the use of a bioweapon, like terrorism, just to really kind of kick the hornet when they were acting that way.
Like I say, them wishing death on us is nothing new. Having to leave comments telling me to off myself or drink bleach. That's used to be acceptable in the comments. Now YouTube have overall eradicated that to the most part. It just doesn't. They just don't allow it to be published. Why would they?
Shouldn't be done though, should it? It's not right.
What, people telling you that you shouldn't breed, you should off yourself, jump off a cliff?
Yeah, that's obviously not something to support, is it?
But they used to do it under the guise of defending science. In actuality, pseudoscience. So, for example, gravity. Go and jump off a cliff. You'll find out that gravity's real. No, gravity's a reified mathematical construct. So, no, it won't prove anything. But essentially, you're telling me to kill myself, though, aren't you?
Yeah, that's slightly boiling it down to the base element there, isn't it? We know that gravity, as it's being proposed, is the force to pull things down, isn't it? So, there is a joke there.
Is that what you think? You're under the impression that gravity is a force?
I think there's a joke there, yeah.
Say again?
I think there's a joke there. It's not very good.
Oh, it's a joke. I was going to say, about to launch into debate.
You're ready to go, all guns showing.
A force, you say? Fundy have we in our midst? No, I don't think so.
A downward vector, you say?
So, Nathan, you have a few trigger words that just set you right off, right?
Hearing somebody say the word force within 2 or 3 words of the word gravity.
Well, the new stance is science doesn't prove things because their pseudoscience doesn't prove things.
Go on, Kiwi. Was that your input, was it, Kiwi?
How's it going, Nathan?
Very well.
Is that all you got is to mimic my laugh?
That's the baller entrance.
Yeah,
how's the show going?
I laugh at you when you say science doesn't.
Tenth man, you got to see it like this. We're winning so hard that they've become so desperate that they're now just trying to literally mimic us out of desperation in order to try and achieve that victory, make it rub off. Maybe if they act like us, they can have it too.
Nathan,
well said,
you're a
Arvin.
piece of
Let's hear from this clown. Go ahead.
This clown wants to talk about my stats. So we're detailing how the confession from their side is currently about pseudoscience, and he thinks it's necessary to interrupt me to discuss my stats on YouTube. Right?
You doing well?
So you did. You did just interrupt that to ask me if I'm doing well. You can look it up. If you're that concerned, go to, what's it called? Social Blade. Check it out.
And you can't find
Must
it
be
on
doing
Wiki,
all right.
so-
His cornball ass is here.
Yeah, meanwhile, we were talking about the fact that you don't have any science and that there's people who would tell us to take our own lives in defense of pseudoscience that they thought was science. That's what we were discussing.
Could I? Sorry.
No? Tolerable behaviour? Only person here on the globe side?
I thought he was going to put out a well-formed argument instead of mocking a laughter.
No, of course not. They don't have anything.
Alan B's never had an argument. He's always refused to even go into argument. And he
I've
would then
suckered him in a
say,
couple of
why are
times.
you getting so angry? That was Alan B's stick.
Still delivering the newspapers, Owen?
No need, right? That
Yes.
we're discussing
Yes, I do.
reality and science. Why are you asking us about occupations and statistics when the show isn't about
Like to keep
our
on
occupations? This is essentially just an
Let's
ad
keep on
hominem
top
attack,
of
isn't it? So you've opened up with an ad
Oh,
hominem.
really? Just like to keep on top of things?
Can keep on top of my stats on Social Blade. Arwen's career has nothing to do with you.
Paperboy career.
So you are here to ad hom. Right, get the fuck out. Get out, prick. That's what we get from the Globe.
Hey, Alan B, how's your pension
I've
doing,
kicked
buddy?
him out.
Huh?
Kicked him out.
Huh?
Don't ad hom him back.
How's your pension
No
doing?
need.
Huh?
No. That's why I've kicked him out. That's all he's here for. He's here to go from us discussing how you globe-believing fundies, the ones who think you live on a spinning space ball, flying through a vacuum, you don't have any science. But yet you will behave in the most heinous way to defend what is actually pseudoscience. Now, we discuss actual science here. That's what we detail. Give people explicit detail about what science actually is, how it's benefited humanity, how it's empirical, how the method operates, how pseudoscience is defined. And what would you know? Everything that's used to claim proof of a globe is pseudoscience. That's what we're detailing. So what does the globe defending believer believe that he needs to talk about here? He needs to talk about me and my stats on YouTube and Arwen's job. I say career. That's worthy of a good laugh. Oh, right. Oh, my bad. No, we're talking about the nature of reality. The globe believer wants to talk about our jobs. Ad hom.
Maybe he wants to talk to my
Can I
boss.
read
I'm at
out
work.
an example of a bad faith comment that
People are
I've seen?
losers.
I've got two people, Greece and... Is it Greece?
No,
Baby.
it's Baby Obama.
Baby your mama. Your
Obama.
baba. Sorry, I'm talking over you. Say it once without anybody interrupting you. Say it once more.
Baby Obama. Yoda and Obama together.
Baby Obama. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Why Yoda and why Obama?
Well, I found a picture and it was of Obama, so I used that.
Oh, you've got it. I see. I just can't see
It doesn't actually carry anything.
Okay. Should I, as a black man, take offence to this?
I doubt it.
Yes.
Maybe he wants to
Hold
set
on.
a
This is
precedent.
serious stuff. Does society say I should take offence to this as a black man?
Probably.
No.
A black
it's
man,
all
I
good
think
then.
it's funny.
So it's all good. Excellent. No racism here then. Excellent.
I was gonna say maybe he wanted to set a precedence with his channel name.
Maybe. Sorry, just quick shout out to Unitox Femu. Thank you very much for the super chat, Unitox Femu. He says, Kiwi, are you speaking without mask? Or you are fruit? That's very cryptic. Does anybody... Can somebody decipher that super chat? Thank you very much, though, Unitox Femu. Kiwi, you are speaking without mask, ... Or you are fruit.
Well, kiwi is a fruit, and kiwi is a slang for New Zealander, I think, right?
Yeah, New Zealander.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Jolly good. Thank you very much for the super chat.
And it used to be a little bird.
hit and miss, isn't it? Sometimes with unitoxophomy, some of them are very, very poignant. Some of them I don't understand. Although it's been explained. Thank you very much.
So interesting why Alan B showed up when he showed up with nonsense. Huh? We were talking about the creator. He does have a problem with the creator.
Divining his thoughts now.
Oh, I know he has a problem. He's told us. What do you mean defining his thoughts? I remember him and QE going back and forth.
Good stuff. Right, 20 minutes. I think we've rounded out the conversation that started off in the pre-show. Should we do a bit of housekeeping?
Of course.
Oh, before we do that, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. Okie dokie. Any signs of a physical geometric sphere edge horizon formerly known as Earth curvature?
Refraction.
Refraction.
Just getting a few buzzwords parroted out, am I? Is that what we're getting?
That's just what they always say when we see too far.
Refraction. Okay, let's break that down then, as it's not getting any response from you guys. So when they say refraction, their refraction is based on an R value. It's called terrestrial refraction, otherwise known as standard refraction. And to utilise this R-based refraction, you require a geometric horizon to derive the R value from. And the current rebuttal to the Black Swan argument is that we do not see, wouldn't expect to see, a geometric horizon. The geometric horizon only exists in maths. So you can't derive an R value, as Al-Biruni is claimed to have done, by measuring said geometric horizon if it doesn't exist beyond the mathematics. So there's no R value to give you terrestrial refraction if you can't derive R by measuring a geometric horizon. As I say, we are being told we wouldn't expect to see the geometric horizon. You cannot see the geometric horizon, and the geometric horizon only exists in maths. So there's no R to give them their refraction. So when they say refraction, they'll often talk at length about actual atmospheric conditions only to utilise a bait and switch, where they substitute in their terrestrial refraction, which utilises the R value. In standard form, 7 over 6 R. That would be the radius value that they're presupposing light bends around when deriving an R value from a geometric horizon that can't be measured.
Could you explain that to me, Nathan? Because, like, I have prescription glasses, and they have a refractive index, and that obviously isn't using R.
Yeah, as I say, they will use actual refractive conditions in the atmosphere, not necessarily through the transition of a different medium altogether, in your case glass, but the actual conditions that they will detail at some point will be substituted for an R-based refraction, a mathematical refraction, a refraction that takes place when looking at the world in a side view, not as we actually observe it. So they'll bait and switch one for the other. So while you can describe the refractive indexes of glass, what they would do is, if that was the comparison, substitute in 7 over 6R instead of what the detailed your glass does. The same is said for the atmosphere. They'll discuss how the air has the light bending through it, and it might be accurate, but at some point they'll just substitute in their maths in Muppet Vision side-on orthographic view, watching a bent line bend around a presupposed sphere Earth at the rate of 7 over 6R. They don't have R anymore.
I see.
So Nathan, since they say the Earth is a sphere and they're basing it on the radius, the R value, all they got to do is show us the curve. And at a 1 foot observer height, that curve has to start at 1.22 miles out.
Yep.
And they can't show that ever. So then what they do is they go to refraction and how it works on a plane. Some days I see Catalina Island, some days I can't see Catalina Island. So they haven't proven anything. They just need to show us a curve. Now, you've been on the plane, you haven't seen the curve. I've been on the plane, I haven't seen the curve. So the higher up you go, you should be able to see it much better, but we don't. But the real test is just get 1 foot above sea level and see how far you could see and where's the horizon in your viewing, especially on a clear day when there's no fog. it's always past 1.22 miles and there's no curve. So there's no blockage. The curve has to block the bottoms of boats if the Earth is a sphere. It's not there. That black swan is killer. It's over for the globe.
Yeah. So if somebody doesn't want to go into the detail of modus tollens and how this logical consistency debunks the notion that we have a sphere edge for a horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, in the picture that we've got on screen now, the assumption detailed a moment ago by 10th Man is that what you are looking at is a physical sphere edge. So the horizon, if you're a globe earther, is a physical edge. That's what is dictating the idea that if you are a 6-foot man, your horizon at the beach is about 3 miles away, because that's the geometry of a sphere Earth. So that is the assumption, that the horizon's a physical sphere edge. Now, wouldn't you know, by coincidence, we as flat earthers are challenged to show globe earthers, because of a propagated nonsense from the Flat Earth Society, an edge. Where's your edge? Oh yeah, boats falling over the edge of the flat earth, are they? And we don't assert that nonsense. It's put out by the controlled nonsense of the Flat Earth Society. However, the edge for a glober is what's on screen. That's a physical sphere edge to you with physical sphere edge geometry. And it isn't. The horizon is not a physical edge. So that's why we have their weakest part of their argument shoved in our face to prove on our side as a nonsense of a flat earth edge. No such thing has been claimed by us. It's put out there by the controlled opposition. But you, globeheads, do have an edge. You think the horizon's your globe edge. And you think boats go over it furthermore, wouldn't you know? So that's exactly why we have that shoved at us, with a picture of a boat going over a flat earth edge. Because your weakest part of your argument is that you think the horizon is a physical sphere edge for boats to go over. So in the most literal terms, you project your weak argument onto us to prove, for our argument, that we haven't made. We don't assert that boats should fall off the edge of some disc flying up through space, a sky vacuum, as asserted by the Flat Earth Society. But you fundies on the globe side, you definitely need an edge to give you an R value. And you need boats to be obscured by that physical edge to claim that the geometry of your Earth curve maths is real. But yet when we debunk it with the black swan, we're told we can't see a physical geometric horizon. And what is a geometric physical horizon? That's Earth curve. So they're telling us on the globe side, in defence of the black swan, we can't see Earth curve. You wouldn't expect to see Earth curve. Earth curve only exists in Earth curve maths. That's what they're telling us. It's beautiful.
Well said.
I wonder, like, what, we do observations and they said refraction. We do laser tests, they say refraction. Like, I wonder how what would settle it all, like a mile long straight edge to, like how the hell would something satisfy everyone?
It wouldn't, because as I just explained to the other chap, baby Obama, they do a bait and switch. So when you're talking about laser tests, they might be able to really accurately describe how that occurs. Yeah? Detail the atmospheric conditions that they will claim later to be 7/6R. Yeah? So all they'll ever do is put it in side view and bend it at a rate presupposed by the R value derived by measuring a horizon as being physical and a sphere edge, when it is not. So they have to perform a bait and switch when they say refraction. That's why they say refraction for everything. Because in their mathematics of a sphere Earth, looking at it in side view, they can bend that line any way they like in the maths. That's why they say refraction is a carte blanche excuse. Because they've got terrestrial refraction, presupposing that Earth's a sphere, and presupposing light bends around the sphere at the rate of 7/6 of the radius of the sphere they presupposed. That's why they say refraction. It's catch-all to put you in their maths. And as soon as you say, all right, okay, what refraction does that, does it? They'll take you to their maths. Yeah, there you go. And if you say, well, that's just a mathematical derivation of your presupposition that we're on a sphere, they go, nah, it's based on calculating out and averaging all of the atmospheric conditions to arrive at this mathematical side-on view of light bending around my presupposed sphere Earth. It's perfectly legit for me to beg the question and then beg the question again that light bends around it. What's that you say? The horizon's not in the position it should be anymore? Well, we've got a triple your trouble fallacy then. I assume Earth's a sphere. I assume light bends around the sphere at the rate of 7/6 of the physical sphere that gives us the R value to bend it, and I assume that the same refraction at 7/6R will bend the horizon that I've based the refraction on at the rate of the physical sphere to move the physical sphere edge to a different location. It's a never-ending fallacy upon fallacy upon fallacy. Just assume your outcome. Assume your outcome has changed your outcome. Assume the outcome that's changed your outcome has moved the physical assumption to a different position, with the assumed changing of refraction in the R value-based maths. It's just preposterous. The hoops they have to jump through to believe they're on a sphere when you get to this level must leave them in so much pain.
And it's interesting that everyone knows what perspective is. We've covered this so many times. It seems like they just can't. Well, they're fighting this one for sure. Because, like I said the other day on the show, where if you're standing at a small, say, grocery store as you're traveling towards a mountain, and you see the mountain way off in the distance, the building, the grocery store that you're standing in front of, is bigger than the mountain is blocking the mountain. But as you get closer to the mountain size becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, that mountain has always been that tall, and that size doesn't change. But from a distance, because of perspective, it looked smaller than the building, the grocery store. But because of perspective, as you get closer, the physical size shows itself. It doesn't change physically, but the further you are, because of the compression and angular resolution and all that, they don't ever attribute that to what they look out at the horizon at. They minus that from everything, because that's the death knell for them.
Yeah, this is on screen now a representation of Muppet vision. So when they give you the Earth curve maths, everything you're looking at will be attributed a feet and inches size. Now the fact that for the feet and inches size to remain the same at distances where the angular size would increase or decrease depending on distance is to remove perspective from the Earth curve maths. So when they're comparing Earth curve maths, you've got the sphere Earth, and then you've got you on the left and the target on the right, and then they draw a line between them. But you can write whatever value you like on the line if you give it in feet and inches. So for example, even though this is depicting it with the angular relationships, if this building is, say, 20 foot, I can write in orthographic view 100 miles on this line. 100 miles. And this building, in terms of its representation at 20 foot, is still accurate. Still a 20 foot building, right? Well, no. At 100 miles, the angular size has decreased vastly. And to the point where the bottom angle, which is the smaller angle, the more you're looking towards the bottom over the deck, the smaller the angle. Well, the angular limitation will be the thing that makes the bottom of this disappear first, because it's at the most limited angle. So when you split the angle in half, obviously you've got a wide angle to all of it, but as you go down the building versus the deck, you've got a narrower and narrower angle. Well, you'll reach the limit of angular resolution at the bottom of the item, because it's on the deck, quicker than the top. Well, that effect has been called Earth curve. You can also induce the same effect with atmospheric conditions. But they call that refraction at the rate of 7/6R when asserting that the reason the bottom's disappeared is because at 100 miles, for the sake of argument, because I can write whatever value I like in this depiction, it's excluding perspective, they say that Earth curve, the physical Earth curve edge, that would be the geometric horizon, has blocked the bottom of this building. Well, the blocking of it by way of geometric physicality has now been debunked by the Black Swan. Quote, we do not see the geometric horizon. Quote, we would not expect to see the geometric horizon. Quote, nobody is asserting that we see physical geometry. Quote, the geometric horizon only exists in maths. These are all quotes from globeheads telling us how we don't see physical Earth curve getting in the way of stuff, because we don't see physical Earth curve. They call it geometry or geometric horizon, but that's the thing that's supposed to be blocking the boats and buildings, and they're simultaneously telling us we don't see it because we've debunked it with the Black Swan.
Well, I've been speaking to a guy called Jeremy, and he's got an idea. So he had an idea to test for the shape of the Earth, and it didn't incorporate anything to do with refraction or things like this. All that was required was the construction of a mile-long, perfectly straight object. And the argument being that you take this over water, as in a flat piece of water, and if it was a curve, you would then expect an 8-inch drop or space between the surface of the water and the bottom of this object, a mile from where you have it touching the water, or in the case where it's flat, it would be touching all along. And I thought that was a very good idea, actually.
Why would you do that when water does it already?
Took the words out of my mouth. Water displays that property by itself.
Yes, but you need to do the test to verify that, because the ballers are saying that the water curves with the shape of the planet.
Yeah, I know they presuppose that straight is curved. However, the principles employed by Euclid have erected plenty of structures already based on the principles of water maintaining its level.
Yes, but of course they say there's a difference between level and flat. This test would verify that.
It's getting to a point. It's getting to a point where you say 2 and 2 is 4. They say, well, no, it could be something else. And then you show them why 2 and 2 is 4. Well, no, I don't accept that. You say, look, here's in every society, in every math, 2 and 2 is 4. No, I know you're saying that, but at some point you just say, all right, fine, we're done with you. So if they want to say water doesn't find its level, at what point do you say, I'm done with you? If they want to say straight is curved, at what point do you say that's a violation of law of non-contradiction? There's time.
Well, it has nothing to do with that, does it? This is just the construction of something which is perfectly flat, and then comparing that against the shape of the planet. I think that's a perfectly valid test.
Well, no, I know, that's my point. Why would I have to go construct something over something that already shows me what flat is?
Because you're verifying it, aren't you?
The verification is the water finding its level.
Yeah, no, but that conforms then to the surface of the Earth, no matter what shape it is. But then
well, if it conforms,
comparing that against something we know to be flat is a perfectly sane verification to do.
If it conforms to the surface of the Earth, then where's the geometric horizon at 1.22 miles?
Well, that has nothing to do with it, does it? I'm saying that you are comparing the surface to this perfectly flat object. It has nothing to do with
what I'm trying to say. It has everything to do with it.
That was the beauty in that test.
Okay.
Hold on, dude. Just let him reply. Go ahead, Tent.
It has everything to do with it, because once you prove 2 and 2 is 4, as my example, there's a much more you can do once you've proven it. Once you prove water finds its level, and it's used for levels, and it's been used for years, and it goes with geometry, there's nothing more you can do for these people, because their own math says that the water is curved at 1.22 miles. We say, good, once you show me water curving at 1.22 miles, then we can talk about your sphere. But guess what? It doesn't. The horizon's behind it.
I still see no problem with this test, because it would just verify that. As in, it would verify the shape.
So you don't accept that water is a tell of a shape?
No, I'm saying that there's nothing wrong with the test which this Jeremy guy has proposed.
And who's it going to convince once he does it?
Well, anyone who sees it.
And if water already does what he's going to do to validate what water does already, what's the difference? It's already been done.
Well, it's like any verification, isn't it? So we claim the water does one thing. We do this test where we have this perfectly flat object, and it verifies it. So I think
How about them showing me water curving, and then we could do the test?
The test is going to verify it, isn't it?
No, I'm saying if you can show me water
now
curves,
you can go around in circles.
Stop.
So their surveyors are going to assume that these principles, I said this already, are demonstrated as true. So beyond their presupposition, this is geodetic surveyors, they're going to assume Earth's a sphere and then use Euclidean principles to actually measure it. So it's already established that these tools demonstrate flatness, and the plane that they operate on is assumed to have level surfaces, as in the elevations are the same across an overall surface that they're using these tools that use water to build on the flat surface that they're utilising. They call that surface a tangent plane. Tangent because they've presupposed it's on a sphere, plane because they're considering it flat. and then using Euclidean principles that use these water levels to demonstrate how flat it is.
Yeah, but this is where Jeremy's idea is different, isn't it? Jeremy's idea is to build what they are calling the tangent, and then you will see how much drop there is or isn't, and then verify the shape.
We already know there isn't. So it's already been mapped out. You've only got to go to Google
But that's what
Earth
I'm saying.
and see that the elevations do not drop, and they are measured as such to know that they're not dropping. So we use Google Earth as a flat Earth proof. Look, there's no drop. But you're saying, well, if I do it with a water level that's principally designed to show flat and use that way to erect buildings over vast areas, that if we do it in this way, somehow with the presupposition that it's not, even though it is, we'll demonstrate otherwise. This makes absolutely no sense. I'm not criticising you, it's not your idea.
No, that's not what I'm saying. What Jeremy said is quite different. So, because they'll be telling us that to a tangent line there'll be an 18-inch drop, right? His thing is to construct an object which would act as that tangent line. So, of course, when you don't get that 8-inch drop, it would verify it to for flat.
Don't need to do that. We've already verified that the tangent point isn't arbitrarily assigned by something that's built. It's dictated by the physical geometry of a claimed to be sphere Earth. And we would have a tangent point. That would be the horizon. A physical tangent point. That's what their geometry is based on. It's not based on this erector set.
But it would verify what we are saying is true.
No.
So I
The
think it's a valid
verification
test.
would be the horizon being physical, with physical parameters. That's what would be verifying it, because that's what they use. Now, what we do in the aftermath is irrelevant. Their assumption is that we've got a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon, and it is, ipso facto, their tangent point. Now, you're saying, let's erect a tangent point. What, draw one to an arbitrary position that isn't the horizon? That's not how their model works. And their model requires a physical geometry to give them an R and a tangent point, which is the horizon. It isn't. We've debunked that. So there's nothing further required. We've debunked that they've got a tangent point. Their tangent point was Earth curve, by the way.
I still see there's nothing wrong with this idea so far. Because it doesn't really involve the horizon. It's just to make something perfectly straight.
Oh, really? Well, the horizon is fundamental to their sphere Earth belief, though. So this is basically irrelevant then. It's just a folly. Because the geometric sphere Earth horizon is what they base their belief on. So if this has nothing to do with the horizon, which is the tangent point for the globe Earth, and has been debunked by the Black Swan, it's kind of surplus to requirements.
But it's a test where there's no optical effects which could be argued. It is just constructing something which is perfectly flat, line it up against flat water, and showing that there's no drop.
But I can do
You
that
just
with
said it
Google.
right
I can
there.
do that already
Flat
with
water.
1,000,001 different surveys. Even Google Earth, I've already covered this. It shows there's no drop. The elevations are the same across these distances. Other than the topology of the
That may be
land,
so,
there is no
but
drop.
that doesn't mean this test is no good. This could be used in addition to this.
To show that water level is level when that principle's used to actually erect the buildings in the first place. We know.
It will show
Euclid
that it's
showed us.
flat.
We already know. It's a principle. Euclidean geometry. This isn't something that needs proving. It's a principle that's used to build stuff. Euclidean principles are used already. We don't need to prove it. It's already done.
Yeah, no, this test is just to verify it, and it was with a means where
Verify
it didn't
it.
have any optical
If
effects.
it wasn't verified, the buildings would be falling down.
But this would directly counter their argument of this 8-inch drop a mile.
No. What directly counters that argument is the assertion that we have a physical geometric tangent point formerly known as Earth curve. That's what the model requires, not this erector set. Third time I've said that. Why'd you keep repeating it?
I still think that it's perfectly valid. In
Okay, off
addition
you
to
go.
what else has
Lovely,
been said.
thanks. That's wonderful. Go off and do it. Present it when you've done it. It's not required in the slightest. The Black Swans debunk the Earth having a physical tangent point for a horizon, which is what is required for their model to work. So this is absolutely surplus to
I don't know
requirement.
why you're against it. It's another test. It's in addition.
Test? What kind of test? Scientific test?
No, it's just a test. And
What kind of test?
It's
the shape.
Scientific test? Is it scientifically? Is it going to give us empirical validation of what you're claiming?
Well, it will counter their claims, won't it?
So
No. What
are
will
we doing?
counter their claims is the black swan, because it requires a tangent point called the horizon, and that is debunked by the black swan. Ergo, their model, the assertion that their model implies by presupposition that the Earth is a sphere, has been left untenable. No, it's not useful. It's not a scientific test. It's not going to empirically validate anything. It's not required. Sorry.
But they argue against the black swan with atmospheric refraction.
Oh, really? Well, atmospheric refraction doesn't give you a geometric horizon. So while they might make that claim that atmospheric refraction, well, that's not geometry. Do you understand that if the horizon is refracted, it's not geometric, and their model is a geometric model? Do you understand that?
I do, but I still rate.
I don't care what you think. So you understand that their debunking that you've presented on their behalf is meaningless then?
I was just saying that they are.
Just acknowledge that you understand their argument's meaningless, because you've presented it as though it's an argument that should be considered, when I've debunked it with this following statement, which you'll now repeat, hopefully. If the horizon is refracted, it is not geometric, and that is required by a geometric model.
All I said is.
I don't want you to tell me what you said. I want you to repeat what I've just said, and I'm questioning why you won't. If the horizon's refracted, it's not geometric. You do understand that, don't you?
Because I'm not here to say prayer. I'm here to just talk, aren't I?
Well, just acknowledge what I've said, because we're in discussion, and now you seem to be being unreasonable. Why would you not want to acknowledge that if the horizon's...
I just put forward Jeremy's idea.
Yeah, and I debunked the notion that we'd even require such a stupid idea. We've debunked the idea of having a physical tangent point, not with an erector set that isn't required, but with the black swan that debunks the idea we have a physical geometric horizon, which would give them a tangent point to base everything their model is based on. And they don't have that anymore. We've debunked it, so this is surplus to requirements. I've gone over that. But you seem reluctant to acknowledge that a geometric horizon is not refracted. And that was what you claimed debunks the black swan, therefore needing us to use this erector set while you interrupt me? I wonder why you're interrupting me. That's strange too. So,
I think...
So, a geometric horizon's not refracted. Could you repeat that for me?
A geometric horizon is not refracted.
So the assertion that you gave that they would debunk the black swan with this horseshit is irrelevant then. We don't need your nonsense erector set. Or Jeremy, whoever the fuck Jeremy is. We don't need his erector set because we've
Jeremy's
debunked...
a great guy.
We've debunked this already with the black swan though, so we don't need this erector set, do we?
But it's another argument in addition.
Hang on. We're at an impasse, but it's really simple to fix it. Nathan said, when their arguments are meaningless, why is Jeremy wanting to go past once their argument is meaningless? Why another proof when the argument for the black swan is nothing? They don't have one. They lose already right there.
Because
so why go one step further with another? Hey, let me finish. When someone gives you a meaningless answer, you won. It's over.
Yeah,
I understand that, but Jeremy's idea completely subverts their argument with the atmospheric refraction.
No, their argument isn't an argument. You know, I struggled to get you to repeat it. Eventually you did. That's not an argument. You think that needs subverting? No. The horizon that they claim is refracted is not geometric. So this isn't an argument that needs subverting with an erector set either. It's not an argument. Geometric, this mathematical value, that gives you a tangent point, a physical sphere edge. That's what geometry requires. Now, a refracted value is not that. So when they say, well, refraction gets around there, it doesn't. It doesn't leave them with the geometry they require. There's no subversion needed by Jeremy's bullshit. None whatsoever. The Black Swan's done it for you, mate. Now, you don't want to accept it because they say refraction. You could just laugh at them. Or point out that a refracted horizon's not geometric.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll take it back to Jeremy.
Who's Jeremy?
He's the guy. He's the guy who came up with the idea. He's got a few ideas.
Who is he?
Like setting up tangent lines and then
who is he though?
Debunking the drop.
Who is he?
He's the guy that hangs around.
Are you talking about the
different
flat
debate
earther,
servers.
Jeremy?
I don't know. We're trying to establish if he's someone
Yeah.
we know or not.
Yeah, I know who he's talking
Yeah,
about.
so he hangs around 24/7 and all the other discords which debate fire.
Might be a better idea to get him in. No offense to you. You're just the messenger. I appreciate that. So I'm being hard on you because the reason for his motivation, and it's not yours, is surplus to requirements. Tried to make that clear.
I see, but thank you.
My pleasure. Sorry if my tone is harsh with you specifically. It's the argument I'm attacking, not you.
We know it's flat, but like just one more proof, and it'll do it, and it'll be definitive.
Well, what we're needing is a
Gotcha.
concession, and we're not getting a concession. So we're going to come up with another flat test.
We've had a concession. The concession we have received is as follows. We do not see the geometric horizon. The geometric horizon is the tangent point in their geometry. And it is that tangent point that they say we cannot see that is supposed to be blocking boats and buildings. I.e., we're supposed to see it blocking boats and buildings, and they say we can't see it. They've already given us the concession. Their concession, we don't see the geometric horizon, is paraphrased as follows. We do not see Earth curve. That is what the globe earthers are telling us is the case based on the Black Swan argument being put to them. Their rebuttal is, we don't see Earth curve. That's their response.
Yeah, that's what I want them to say. They don't say that. They say refraction.
No. They require geometry, as I explained to the last guy. So saying, oh, refraction. Well, what refraction? We went through this at the beginning of the show too. Their refraction's based on the geometry. It's got an R in it.
So it has to be seen.
You need the geometric physical sphere edge tangent point to give you R, to give you 7/6R, which is their refraction. So when they go, refraction, well, what kind of refraction, fundy globehead moron? Terrestrial refraction, with an R in it. Well, for that R, the geometric value, you need a tangent point, don't you now? And what's that you say we haven't got one? We don't draw a straight line to a physical geometric sphere edge horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, that block boats and buildings. We don't have that. Well, then we don't have Earth curve.
That's why it's number one.
Yeah, the model's untenable. That's how the Black Swan has left them. While we can't get them to concede in most cases, their rebuttal is a concession in this instance. Their rebuttal, we can't see the geometric horizon, it only exists in maths, is saying Earth curve only exists in maths. Never a truer statement was made.
That's for sure.
But thank you for presenting it, Obama.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it was good because the finer points came out in the back and forth.
Final points like Earth is flat.
Yeah.
Welcome to flat Earth.
They got to show us Earth curve for them to have any argument. They can't show us Earth curve.
Earth curve.
Look at that. Do you remember me telling...
that old and busted shit?
Remember me
It's only
telling...
in their math, right? Because if they could show it to us, then it's in reality. But they only say it exists in math. And when you say based on your R, it's supposed to be here. They say, yeah, well, it's not there because of refraction. So it's not physical. So it's not a sphere.
It's almost like they literally don't understand. The fact that they're saying it only exists in math is the exact reason why we are here. Because it doesn't exist in physical reality. It only exists in math. Yeah, it's a model. It's a mathematical thought experiment.
Yeah, I had this conversation just the other day. I said, you know that everything you believe to a person about the globe is based on a model. It's not reality. The globe model says at 1.22 miles, the curve has to be there at 1 foot high. It's not there, which means it's a reification of a model. their eyes popped open. What do you mean a model? I said, it's not reality. It's just a globe model.
Yes, round and round we go.
Around and round we go, did you say?
Yeah, just long distance observations, refraction. It's refraction, always refraction.
Right, but refraction is not their strong point. It's the death. If they go refraction, it's over for them. They don't even know it.
Yeah, but the ballers are concise. They have refraction. That's their one word, concise rebuttal, refraction, right? For Earth curve. And then why is this spinning, whirling, flying water ball staying under so much control? And oh, well, that's just gravity. And then what's their third one? We all know that very well. You don't understand.
Well, if it's refraction, then it's no longer geometric, so it's over right there.
Right, there's been a whole bunch of super chats that I've not shouted out, so I'll do them now. So Unitox replied, he said, "Not only Kiwi entrance was amazing. No, only Kiwi entrance was amazing." I'm not even going to try and decipher that. "If you drop Kiwi from building, you can prove gravity," says Unitox Vemu. So thank you for triple hitting the super chat, and also Good Servant who got a super chat right in at the end. So thank you very much indeed to all of you for smashing the super chat. Anything anybody wants to add before we round out? All go at once.
I wish they tried just a little bit harder. At least for entertainment purposes.
Fair enough. With that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's live show possible. If you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley or Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!